Most people in Kabwe, let alone Zambia, are not aware of this. To most Zambians, Kabwe is branded as the interface of commuters connecting between the Copper Belt and Nsaka. But to the world, Kabwe is considered as one of the most polluted places, not only in Africa, but on the entire earth. Welcome to another episode of the Njinjila Investigative Channel. In this episode, we explore and uncover why Kabwe was tagged as the most polluted place in Africa and number 4 in the world on a list that included Chernobyl by the Times Magazine in 2013. Kabwe is located in the heart of Zambia and is the provincial headquarters of Central Province. During the colonial era, it was known as Broken Hill Town, named after a Broken Hill mine in Australia. After gaining independence in 1964, the town was renamed to Kabwe, which translates to small stone in local dialect. In 1921, the remains of what is believed to be a Neanderthal-like skull was discovered at the Broken Hill mine. The skull was carbon dated to about 324,000 to 274,000 years old and was expropriated to the British Museum. The Broken Hill mine is the reason why Kabwe is infamously polluted. The mine was opened in 1906 by the Rhodesian Broken Hill Development Company. Unofficial mining in the area, however, had started as early as 1904. Lead and zinc were discovered in the area by an Australian geologist, T.G. Davey, in 1902 when he stumbled upon a steep hill which had zinc, lead, and vanadium outcrops. In 1925, the mine was ceded to a South African mining company known as Anglo American PLC. This company would operate the mine until the year 1974 when it was nationalized by the Zambia Consolidated Copper Mines Limited. Between the years 1925 and 1974, the mine was the largest lead producer in Africa. Lead is a naturally occurring toxic metal found in the crust of the earth. It is used to make lead batteries, radiation shields, pigments, and ammunition, among other things. Lead finds itself on the surface of the earth through human activities such as mining, smelting, manufacturing, and recycling of lead products. People can become exposed through 2 primary ways. One is by inhalation of lead particles generated by burning or smelting materials containing lead. The other way is ingestion of lead-contaminated dust, water, or food, and sometimes by hand-to-mouth behavior. The reason why lead is a dangerous pollutant is because of its harmful nature to biological and human life. It is associated with learning disabilities, stunted growth in children, irritability, and sterilization. Young people are particularly vulnerable to the toxic effect of lead and can suffer profound and permanent adverse health impacts. These include hindering the development of the brain and nervous system, which can result in low intellect and learning disabilities. In adults, lead poisoning can cause long-term health complications such as risk of high blood pressure, cardiovascular problems, and kidney damage. In women, lead poisoning can cause miscarriages, stillbirths, premature births, and low birth weight. The dangers of lead poisoning was propounded to the world by a geologist named Claire Patterson in 1965 following a paper he published called Contaminated and Natural Lead Environments of Man. The paper revealed that lead was not a naturally occurring surface mineral and that human activities such as mining and well drilling were the sole causes of surface environmental pollution of lead. Claire Patterson would also vehemently lobby for the removal of lead from petroleum used as fuel in vehicles. The Broken Hill mine would close in 1994 because of the increasing danger of lead pollution. By the time of its closure, the Broken Hill mine had produced extreme lead poisoning for nearly 90 years. Despite its closure, artisanal miners and small-scale mining operations are still undertaken by ordinary people to sustain their livelihood to this day. During the colonial era and early years after independence, there was no legislative regulation and enforcement restraint in Zambia restraining the impact that mining had on the environment. This propounded the risk of severe pollution from the Broken Hill mine. Zambia has since tried to rectify the problem with the Mines and Minerals Act of 2015, making regulation for environmental degradation and pollution. However, mining activities in Zambia have continued to cause environmental degradation and pollution in the Copper Belt and northwestern provinces. Experts describe Kabwe today as a sacrifice zone and one of the most polluted places on Earth. Scientists generally consider soil hazardous if it has more than 400 milligrams of lead per kilogram. In 3 townships in Kabwe near the mine, it was found that the soil contains 6, 8, and 15 times that amount, according to a 2014 study. Further studies have shown that over 100,000 people near the mine in Kabwe have lead poisoning. Tens of thousands of children in particular have recorded high levels of lead in their blood. What is heartbreaking is the continued artisanal mining that further risks the lives and health of the residents of Kabwe. Despite the documentation of lead pollution in Kabwe, the government of Zambia has not cracked down on any human activity on the mine and surrounding areas. In July 2021, the United Nations Special Rapporteurs urged the Zambian government to remedy the toxic mining site. According to experts, the mine's toxic legacy is still being felt today because lead is a long-lasting, intergenerational poison. In 2022, a class action was commenced in the South African Gauteng High Court by the residents of Kabwe affected by the lead pollution against the Anglo American Mining Company. They allege that tens of thousands of Kabwe residents, including children, have suffered permanent brain damage and death from lead poisoning instigated by the mining company. The class action is on behalf of 140,000 women and children who are victims of lead poison. The company is accused of not having been concerned with the welfare of the local inhabitants of Kabwe and failing to take precautionary and protective measures when handling lead minerals. The United Nations Special Rapporteurs on Toxic and Human Rights, Extreme Poverty and People with Disabilities have since joined the proceedings in support of the claimants. The Anglo American company has disputed the allegations by asserting that it never owned or operated the mine, and that the mine had always belonged to the Zambia Consolidated Copper Mine Company and its predecessors. As of the making of this video, the case is yet to be decided by the South African court. What are your thoughts on the state of lead poisoning in Kabwe? If you like this video, check out the other video on how the plane carrying the Zambia national soccer team crashed, or the video on the day Zambia was taken over for 3 hours by Captain Salo. Ciao!